Hey everyone, it's me and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you art in my style of 4 of my favorite webtoons. So I started reading webtoons recently because I find myself awake at like 3 in the morning with the need to do something quietly quite frequently these days. And if you don't understand what I mean, then I'm sorry about that. I'm a mom, so a new mom, so that's why I'm awake at 3 in the morning quite frequently these days, needing something quiet to do. But anyway, I found Webtoon as a way to pass the time when I'm up in the middle of the night, doing something quietly, and it's mildly entertaining and helps me stay awake until I'm ready to go back to bed. So the first Webtoon I read was called Maybe Meant to Be. It's about, I think they're 32-year-olds, Gia, who's the female, and Minchul, who's the man. They enter a marriage of convenience due to family pressure, but slowly over the course of the webcomic they fall in love for real. It kind of reminds me of that anime and manga called Love is Hard for Otaku, and I've talked about it on my blog before, but I enjoyed this one because it's like an adult romance and it's not about high schoolers or teenagers, and it's kind of low drama and funny, so it's definitely my favorite of the 4 and why I started with it first, so I drew them in their wedding photos. The next one is called Kiss Bet, and this one's about high schoolers, so automatically I don't prefer it as much. But it is a love rhombus. It's not a love triangle. Sarah Lynn is the main character, and she's got 2 competing love interests at the beginning. Her best guy friend Patrick and a new transfer student named Joe. Joe has a brother named Oliver who's her math tutor. Eventually she gets to the point where maybe she realizes that she's not really interested in either Patrick or Joe, and things are starting to develop to where she's more interested in Oliver. And I would say that's a spoiler, but honestly that's one complaint I have about it. I feel like this story is predictable even from the very beginning. The first episode, the first scene, she meets Oliver. I feel like it kind of is obvious that he's endgame. Now, we haven't reached that point in the webcomic yet, but I think that's where it's headed. The fun thing about this webcomic is the art. I think that the art in the earlier chapters is kind of weak, but the art really improved over the seasons, and now it's like some of my favorite art of any webtoon that I've read. In particular, the coloring is like absolutely amazing. So I would recommend the Kiss Bet, not maybe for the plot, but for the art and the vibes. It's actually really super cute. And Sarah Lynn, who's the protagonist, is a pretty likable character, and you kind of root for her. She's low drama. She doesn't, I don't know, she's very selfless, I feel like. And a lot of the characters are actually really nice people, so it's nice to read about them, and you root for basically everybody. So even though there's like love, rhombus, quote-unquote drama, it's really not that dramatic. The next one is called Your Smile is a Trap, and in my opinion is the most boring of the 4 that I'm talking about today, because honestly, for a lot of the time, nothing really happens. It's just a bunch of misunderstandings, and basically the story is about this guy who's an ex-K-pop idol trainee named Kiyu, and he moves out to like basically the suburbs because he wants a normal life after quitting the idol trainee life. And he makes an unlikely friend in this girl named Lily, who has a really big problem with RBF. Like, everybody's afraid of her because she looks so scary, but really she's just like super nervous, shy, and awkward. And Kiyu kind of learns over time what her real personality is, and begins to admire her. And this one's actually pretty cute in terms of like their relationship with one another. And there are a lot of funny moments because of the misunderstandings about, you know, their personalities. But like I said, I feel like this one's a little bit dull because like chapters and chapters and chapters and chapters will have passed with nothing really happening. The final one I'm talking about is True Beauty, which is probably the most famous of these 4. And I don't know, in some ways it's my favorite, and in other ways not so much, because like I said, Maybe Meant to Be, the first one I talked about, is my favorite. This one though is like much longer, so it had over 200 episodes, and this one's actually completed. And so this one's about a girl named Jukyung who's kind of ugly. I mean, kind of ugly, and she like got bullied about it through middle school and stuff. And over time she learns how to do her makeup, and so she presents as very attractive. And it's about her kind of learning to be more self-confident with and without makeup. And this is a love triangle for sure. And again, it's not that dramatic, but she's got two love interests. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. They're Korean, obviously. Seojun is the one on the left in my drawing, and the one on the right is Suho. And Seojun and Suho were ex-idol trainees as well. They were in a group together, or they were training in the same company together, but they both quit because a friend of theirs killed themselves. So it's a little bit sad. I mean, I think that this one definitely has some of the darkest themes of any of these four. But anyway, she dates Seojun first, and predictably things don't work out, and Suho on the right is like obviously endgame. And again, I'm saying this is not like really a spoiler. If you read the first several chapters of this, it'll become evident who is endgame. I don't know why, it just sometimes it's like so obvious, but I don't prefer Suho. That's why I drew him in all beige, because I just feel like he's kind of got a beige personality. He's kind of boring to me. Like, him and Jukyung have a lot in common in terms of like they both like horror movies and stuff like that, but he just seems kind of blah. Like, it takes him a really long time to figure out what his passion is, and it turns out to just be like cooking, which, I mean, if you love cooking and that's your passion, I'm not trying to like say you're a boring person or anything, but I just feel like in a story where like Jukyung's like this aspiring makeup artist, and she's like a makeup YouTuber, and she's like a quasi-famous influencer, and Seojun is a K-pop idol, becoming a cook is a little bit boring by comparison. But anyway, there's a lot of twists and turns in that story, so I would actually recommend it. Anyway, those are the 4 webtoons that I've been reading recently and that I would recommend to you. I would recommend maybe Meant to Be the most because it's the funniest, and I love this romance where it's spicy but not that spicy because they're married. And so it's technically not that scandalous. But anyway, let me know what you think of my art, and let me know what you think of these webtoons in the comics if you've read them before, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!